Now that all of the Week 12 AFC games are in the books, it is time for our latest episode of how the Denver Broncos can make the playoffs. The Broncos picking up a massive win over the Cleveland Browns yesterday, 29-12, boosted our playoff odds all the way up from 19% to 34%, thanks in part also to some other wins from some other teams. But right now, the Broncos really are in a position to control their own destiny with a critical Week 13 matchup coming up on the road at Houston. If we come over here and take a look, if the Broncos were to lose this game in Houston, it would drop our playoff odds all the way down to the teens. So at the end of the day, man, this is going to be a massive game for the Denver Broncos playoff implications. There are still ways for the Denver Broncos to make the playoffs if they were to lose this Houston game, but they would basically involve having to sweep the Chargers, and the only loss that you could afford basically after that would be the Detroit Lions, and even then, you would still kind of depend on some other teams for some potential help. So the easiest way for the Denver Broncos to control their own destiny here is if they were to win against the Houston Texans. Now, coming over here, they can boost their playoff chances all the way up to 66% if they A, take care of their own business in Houston, and B, all of these other outcomes happen. Now, some of these games have less implications than others, such as, first of all, this Patriots and Chargers game. I mean, it would obviously be more ideal for divisional seedings if we had the Chargers sink back behind us another game and they lost to the Patriots. Realistically, I don't see that happening, but even if the Chargers were to win here, it wouldn't really affect Denver's seeding too much because LA is a full 2 games behind Denver right now. That's just on the top of things you absolutely love to see. Another one here, like this Falcons-Jets game, that one really isn't going to have a major impact because, let's just be honest, the Jets aren't going to make the playoffs, so this one might only boost Denver's percentage odds by like a point or two, if that. This Cardinals-Steelers game, even if the Steelers were to win here, it wouldn't, again, affect Denver's seeding all too much. The Steelers would actually have the 5th seed if they were to get a win here. They would drop down, I believe, to the 7th seed or something like that if the Cardinals were to get a win here, and Denver would stay where they would be at the 6th seed if all of these scenarios were to happen. We'll go ahead and review that in just a second. Dolphins Commanders, that's another one where, again, the Dolphins are going to win their division. That's not going to have any implications in terms of wild card seeding. So Miami wins here. That's not the worst case scenario. The Browns and the Rams, this is another one where even if the Browns were to get a win here, it wouldn't change Denver's seeding because Denver got that win yesterday. So there are quite a few games here that don't really change Denver's seeding too much. Chiefs-Packers, again, odds are very slim for Denver to win the AFC West, so if Kansas City gets a win here, not the worst-case scenario. And then the Bengals, because they've fallen so far back, Jacksonville getting a win here, or the Bengals getting a win here, again, wouldn't change Denver's seeding, but there is one game that we really need to get, and that is we need the Colts to take an L to the Tennessee Titans. We need some Will Levis magic here in Week 13, because if the Colts were to get a win, it would drop Denver's playoff odds by just a few points, but coming over here to this playoff simulator, playoffpredictors.com, if all of those scenarios happened on the New York Times simulator, it would get Denver to the 6th seed. I went and plugged all of those scenarios in. However, if we come over here and swap out the Colts, that would drop Denver down to the 8th seed. Indianapolis would get the 7th seed, and then Cleveland would get the 6th seed. So at the end of the day, man, aside from taking care of our own business, the most critical game for the Denver Broncos on this Week 13 slate is this Titans-Colts game. This is going to be an unfavorable matchup, I feel like, for the Tennessee Titans, but this is one where we need to have the Titans to find a way to win. We need Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins to cook up some magic. We need King Henry to have a vintage King Henry performance, and we need this Titans defense to be able to hold their water against Indianapolis. If they can do that, and if Denver can beat Houston, those are the most critical games for the Broncos' playoff chances in Week 13. That's what winning against Cleveland was able to do. That bought you a little bit more of comfortability and cushion, but we still need a little bit of help here from the Tennessee Titans. So we'll see what happens, guys. All right, guys, let me know if you guys think the Denver Broncos are going to be able to pull this off and make the playoffs after starting 1-5. Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.